You ever have a neighbor so entitled, so far gone into their own little fantasy kingdom, that they called the police on a hammock? Yeah, that actually happened. There I was, stretched out in my canvas hammock, the same one my grandfather hung between two oak trees he planted in the 1950s, just soaking up the lake breeze one evening, when two squad cars pulled up to my fence. Lights flashing, officers standing with that ready-for-anything stance. One of them called out, "Sir, we received a report of a suspicious person loitering by the lake." I sat up, confused. "You mean that lake?" I pointed at the water behind me. "The one that sits on my ranch, the one I was literally born next to." The younger officer shifted, clearly uncomfortable. "That's what the caller said." And there she was, arms folded like some kind of angry lawn ornament. Maylene Crane, president of the Ridge View Hills HOA and self-appointed protector of neighborhood virtue. Even from across the fence, I could hear her screech. "He's ruining the lakefront charm. He's intimidating." And that's when I knew it wasn't about the hammock. It was about control, and Maylene was used to getting her way. Let me rewind. I'm Jackson Keller, owner of Blue Hollow Ranch 160 acres of pastureland and stories, passed down since 1952, when my grandfather bought it. That lake, it's been the backdrop of every family memory, birthday picnics, quiet Sundays, you name it. Everything was calm, until Ridge View Hills popped up 5 years back. A fancy gated HOA community pressed up against my eastern fence. At first it was fine, friendly waves, the occasional egg purchase. Then Maylene took over their HOA board and the mood shifted hard. She started with noise complaints about the cows. Then it was the smell of hay bothering her during her wine hours. But the real trouble kicked off when she noticed her $1,000,000 view wasn't exclusive. Her back deck faced my lake, and when she saw me out there with a beer in hand, boots off, swinging gently in that old hammock, she flipped. That police call, just the beginning. 3 days later, I received a thick envelope stamped with the HOA golden seal. Looked official, until I read it. They accused me of violating community aesthetic standards, and demanded I remove all unapproved structures from their shared lakefront, including my hammock. They were calling my hammock an illegal structure on their amenity space. I responded with my deed, the original 1952 survey, and a letter that basically said, "This land's mine. Kindly stay on yours." That's when the cameras showed up. Not mine, hers. 3 of them mounted just past the fence, all aimed at my property. One zoomed in on the hammock. Another tracked movement near my porch. The third had night vision. Even better, they were live streaming me to the HOA Facebook safety group. Comments rolled in like, "He's by the lake again," and "What's he hiding in that barn?" One woman even made a spreadsheet cataloging my daily activities. Apparently, iced tea at 2:15 was suspicious behavior. And then came the music. I woke at 3 a.m. to Ride of the Valkyries blaring from outdoor speakers pointed straight at my house. It went on for 29 minutes, just short of triggering a noise violation. By the time the police arrived, the speakers were off and Maylene was nowhere. The officer sighed, "Let me guess. HOA drama. This kept up. Fake police reports, false accusations. Even my livestock vet and the feed guy got interrogated." It wasn't just petty. It was a full-on campaign of harassment. But then came the nuclear option, a formal lawsuit delivered by a grim-faced process server. They claimed I was trespassing on my own land. According to them, the lake front belonged to Ridge View Hills via some vague, historic easement, and they wanted $50,000 and a court order barring me from the eastern 50 feet of my property. I nearly laughed. Then I called Sarah Alvarez, a friend's attorney who doesn't mess around. She read the complaint twice, looked at me, and said, "This isn't just dumb. This is fraud." She pulled the county records, my deed, the original surveys. Everything was airtight. Then she dug up their version of the property line, a map submitted during the Ridge View development, and it had conveniently shifted the boundary 50 feet west. Same 50 feet Mayline tried to buy from me 3 years ago. You see what this is? Sarah said she couldn't get it, so now she's trying to steal it. We needed ironclad evidence, so I hiked out to the old willows, where my grand at once showed me the original survey marker. After digging, we found it, an iron pipe stamped with the boundary code just where it had always been. A licensed surveyor confirmed it. The HOA swanky lakeside patio, their pergola grill station, about $30K worth of amenities, were built smack in the middle of my land. They weren't suing me for trespassing, they were illegally squatting. Sarah filed a counterclaim the next day, full removal of structures, $150,000 in damages and all legal costs. The deposition was something else. Fancy office, glass walls, marble floors. Mayline sat stiff, hair perfect, suit tailored, lips tight with contempt. She didn't acknowledge me. Her lawyer opened with, "Surely there's a middle ground." Sarah cut him off. "Are you aware your client submitted a fraudulent survey?" She laid out the real maps, the fakes, timestamps, and permit dates. Mayline's face changed color like a heat map. She snapped, "He's been lowering our property values for years, lounging in that filthy hammock like he owns the place." Sarah calmly replied, "He does own the place, and you built on it," then sued him. Mayline lost it, ranted about neighborhood standards, said she'd rather torch it all than lose to a rancher. Security had to walk her out. 2 days later, her lawyer folded. We met at court. Their new attorney looked exhausted. They gave in, agreed to everything, demolish all structures, pay damages, cover fees. Mayline had to resign from the HOA permanently and issue a public apology. In the paper, on the HOA website, and by letter to every resident. But I had one last term. She had to personally take down those cameras. She did, while half the neighborhood watched. Carl, my neighbor, live-streamed the whole demolition. He even added violin music and dramatic narration. At one point, Mayline stood by the fence, drenched in rain, mascara streaked, watching it all crumble. People still rewatch that stream. Around here, we call it the day the HOA died. A month later, her house sold, quietly and below market value. The new HOA president sent a letter of apology and removed any trace of that fake easement. As for me, I rehung my hammock between those 2 oak trees. There's a new sign down by the water now, small, simple. It says, "Private Property, Blue Hollow Ranch, ESD, 1952. Hammocks welcome," and underneath it, "Smile, you're on farmer camera, because peace is good. But peace with proof, that's justice."